everyone. So I know it's been a while. Thank you for putting up with the sporadic video releases. But like I said, I am working on the different marriage stuff as everything is, it's getting closer. It is, going to be October 6th, so it's less than a month. I'm, having to do alterations with the dress and doing stuff with the venue and making sure things are, whatever. When they say that planning for a wedding is stressful, they are not kidding. And when they say to expect something to go wrong, they're also not kidding. However, I think in my case, they were not so forthcoming, because a lot of people are like, oh, one or two things are going to go wrong, kind of not too major. But in my case, my wedding venue that I had selected canceled. They went out of business, and so I lost the place I was supposed to be getting married at. So I've been scrambling and trying to get things situated on where I'm going to get married now. So I've come to some conclusions, I've come to some new things, and everyone's like, wow, you're pretty calm. I'm like, well, I guess that's a prior military thing, not like freaking out in the, just changing and adapting type thing, I guess. So anyway, that is one of the reasons why, this particular video that I'm, posting has taken so long to be released. But hopefully you're still with me. And I wanted to say, yay, mind blown. I have more than 100 subscribers. The last time I looked, I have 108. So thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart. This is amazing. I love you all. I love your comments. I love your thumbs ups. I love it all. So please keep doing it. Keep subscribing to my channel. Keep giving me comments. I love to read them and I love to respond. And I really hope that you're loving this series as much as I do. And I'm actually, we're kind of getting through. I mean, we're on the third book, plus we're on the first novella of the series, and I'm kind of nervous for, when we do get to the end. Where are we going to go from there, everyone? I guess start giving me some ideas. I mean, I have tons of series to choose from. I mean, there is another one that's close and dear to my heart that I really am kind of hoping you guys might want me to read. It's the... trying to think, would think I would remember it, but all of a sudden I'm blanking now that I want to remember the name of the book. But, what is it? The newest book that just came out was The Fates Divide, I believe, or something like that. Carve the Mark. That's it, by Veronica Roth, who is the author who also wrote the series, Insurgent? Yeah, I think. Insurgent? No, of course I'm blanking, but, yeah, maybe it's Insurgent, whatever. Well, I can get to that another time before whatever, but that's a good one. Of course, there's Hunger Games, which is fantastic. I've read that to my grandmother before. I've read it to my father. I've read it to my brother. It's an amazing series, but I feel like a lot of people have done it. And the movies actually do that series they are pretty closely tied together. I mean, it's fantastic. But I know I'm rambling, but I guess that's just because I've missed you guys and haven't really posted in a while. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. I know that things will go back to normal pretty much after October. So after the wedding, the honeymoon, after all that, things should slow back down and I should be able to post a lot more regularly. So if you guys could put up with me for these next few weeks, few months, the rest of September and all of October, I think we should be good. Anyway, I'll stop gabbing. Without further ado, we'll pick back up where we left off in the last video of The Rise of Nine by Pittacus Lore on chapter 3. Okay. And so, I know that when I wanted to do something super awesome for, this video. So I think what I'm going to do is just kind of read until I get tired of reading. So this might be a really long video. We'll see. I'm not sure. And if not, then I'll figure something else out. I guess. Chapter 3. The air is thick and heavy as we leave the airport in New Delhi. We walk along the curb, Marina's chest under Creighton's arm. Cars inch past on the congested roadways, horns blaring. The four of us are on the alert for signs of trouble, even the slightest indication we're being followed. We reach an intersection and are jostled on all sides. Women shove by with tall baskets balanced on their heads. Men with buckets of water draped over their dark shoulders shout for us to get out of the way. The smells, the noise, the physical proximity of the busy world around us could overwhelm us. We stay vigilant. There's a bustling market on the other side of the street that looks like it stretches for miles. Children crowd us with trinkets for sale, and we politely turn down their wood carvings and ivory jewelry. I'm amazed by the organized chaos of it all, happy to see life moving along in what seems to be routine, happy for this moment away from our war. "Where do we go now?" Marina asks, raising her voice to be heard above the noise. Creighton scans the crowd crossing the street. "Now that we're away from the airports and its cameras, I suppose we can find a taxi skids to a stop in front of us, a cloud of dirt billowing from its tires, and the driver pushes the passenger door open. "Taxi," Creighton finishes. "Please, where can I take you?" the driver asks. He's young and looks nervous, like this is his first day on the job. Marina must either relate to his mood or be desperate to get away from the crowds because she jumps right into the back of the car and scoots all the way over. Creighton gives the driver an address as he folds himself into the front seat. Ella and I pile into the back, next to Marina. The driver nods and then promptly slams his foot down on the accelerator, throwing us all back against the cracked plastic seat. New Delhi becomes a blur of bright colors and fleeting sounds. We zip past cars and rickshaws, goats and cows. We take corners so fast, I'm surprised it isn't on two wheels. We miss clipping pedestrians by a hair's breadth. So many times, I lose count. Then I decide it's probably best if I don't look so closely. We're tossed back and forth against each other. The only way to keep ourselves from falling onto the car's dirty floor is by clinging to one another and anything else we can grab. The taxi jumps a curb at one point, shooting down a stretch of narrow sidewalk to avoid stalled traffic. It's totally crazy, and I admit, I love every second of it. Years of running, hiding, and fighting have turned me into a total adrenaline junkie. Marina plants her hands on the headrest in front of her, refusing to look out the windows while Ella leans over her, trying to take it all in. With no warning, the driver jerks the taxi violently down a road that runs behind a long row of warehouse buildings. The street is flanked by dozens of men with AK-47s. Our driver nods at them as we fly past. Creighton looks over his shoulder at me. His concerned face makes the knot in my stomach grow larger. The road is suddenly and noticeably absent of traffic. "Where are you taking us?" Creighton demands of the driver. "We need to go south and you're headed north." Marina's head jerks up and she and Ella look over at me questioningly. All of a sudden, the car screeches to a halt and the driver dives out of the door, rolling away from the taxi. A dozen vans and covered trucks surround the car. Each vehicle has a similar smudge of red paint on the doors, but I can't quite make out what it is. Men in street clothes jump out of the vans, machine guns ready. Now the adrenaline really starts to flow. It always kicks in before a fight. I look over at Marina and see the terrified look on her face, but I know she will take her cues from me. I keep myself calm. "You guys ready? Marina? Ella?" They nod. Creighton puts his hands up. "Wait! Look at the trucks, Six. Look at their doors." "What?" Ella asks. "What's on their doors?" The men come closer, their shouts growing urgent. I'm too focused on the imminent danger to consider what Creighton is talking about. When people with guns threaten me, or the ones I love, I'll make sure they regret it. Marina looks out the window. "Six, look! Are those number—" I finally see what they're all staring at just as the door next to Marina is whipped open. The red smudges on the truck doors are all 8s. "Out!" the man yells. "Do as he says," Creighton says under his breath, voice calm. "For now, we do what they want." We carefully get out of the taxi, our hands up, all four of us transfixed by the red numbers painted on the truck doors. We must be moving too slowly because one of the men leans forward and impatiently yanks Ella forward. She loses her balance and falls down. I can't help myself. I don't care if they're with number 8 or not. You don't knock an 11-year-old girl to the ground. I heave the man into the air with my mind, tossing him onto the roof of a warehouse across the street. The other men panic, whipping their guns around and screaming to one another. Creighton grabs my arm. Let's find out why they're here. And if they know where number 8 is. If we need to, we'll strike with full force then. Still furious, I shake off his hand, but I nod. He's right. We don't know what they want with us. Better to find out before they're unable to explain. A tall, bearded man wearing a red beret steps out of one of the covered trucks and slowly walks towards us. His smile is confident, but his eyes are wary. A small pistol sticks out from his shoulder holster. Good afternoon and welcome, he says in thickly accented English. I am Commander Garesh Shamar of the rebel group Vishnu Nationalist 8. We come in peace. Then what are the guns for? Creighton asks. The guns were to convince you to come with us. We know who you are and would never engage in a battle with you. We know we'd lose. Vishnu told us you are all powerful like him. How did you find us? Creighton demands. And who is Vishnu? Vishnu is the all-pervading essence of all beings, the master of the past, present, and future, the supreme God and preserver of the universe. He told us you would be 4 in total, 3 young girls and 1 man. He asked me to convey a message to you. What's the message? I say. Commander Sharma clears his throat and smiles. His message is, I am number 8. Welcome to India. Please come and see me as soon as you can. Chapter 4. The sky is gray and heavy. The woods are dark and cold. Most of the leaves have fallen from the trees and lie dead on the ground. 9 walks ahead of me, scanning the landscape for game. You know, that rabbit was better than I thought it would be. He produces a short piece of vine from his pocket and pulls his shaggy black hair into a ponytail. I'll make it again tonight if you're interested. I think I'll figure something else out. He looks surprised at my squeamishness. Scared of fresh kill? You have to eat if you want to get your strength up. I don't know why, but our healing stones don't do jack shit for your pain. And you know, the sickness thing of yours is a real drag. Time's a wasting, dude. We need to get you better, and we've got to get out of here. I know how weak my body is by how tired I feel as we walk. We're only a couple 100 yards from our ramshackle house, and I'm exhausted already. I want so badly to be back there, sleeping, but I know I won't feel normal again if I don't get off my butt and move. Hey, 9. Let me tell you about this dream I just had, I say. He snorts. A dream? No thanks, man. Well, unless it was about girls. That you can tell me all about. In detail. I saw Satrakas Ra. I talked to him. 9 pauses, then keeps walking. He offered me a deal. Oh yeah? What kind of deal? If I go back to him and face him, he said he'll let everyone else live, including Sam. 9 snorts. That's a load of crap. Mogadorians don't make deals. At least, they don't make deals with any intention of keeping up their end of the bargain, and they don't show mercy. I figured, why not just pretend I'm taking him up on it? I have to go back to the cave anyway to get Sam out. 9 turns to me, his face a mask of disinterest. Hate to break it to you, dude, but Sam's probably dead. The Mogs don't care about us, and they don't care about humans. I think you had a bad dream, and I'm sorry you got all scared and felt the need to bore me with it. But even if you did channel Satrakas Ra, that kind of offer is obviously a trap, and you'll die walking into it. In fact, you'll die going within 10 miles of that place. I guarantee it. He spins around and walks away from me. Sam's not dead, I say, anger welling up inside of me, giving me a strength I haven't felt in days. And the dream was real. Satrakas Ra was torturing him. I watched his skin sizzle from boiling liquid dropping onto it. I'm not going to just sit around here and let it continue to happen. He laughs again, but this time it isn't with a sneer. Not exactly reassuring, but definitely more gentle. Listen, 4. You're too weak to even run in place, never mind fight the most powerful being in the galaxy. I know it sounds heartless, dude, but Sam is human. There's no way you can save them all, so stop wasting your time and energy. It's not like you have an unlimited supply of either. The lumen in my palm starts to light up. I'm in control of it now, a definite improvement. I'm hoping the glow is a sign the effects of the blue force field are wearing off. Look, Sam is my best friend, Nine. You need to get that and keep your opinions about my energy to yourself, okay? No, you look, says Nine. His voice sounds flat. This isn't playtime. We're at war, dude. War. And you can't make this about your feelings for Sam. If it makes everyone else less safe, I will not let you abandon the rest of us to face the Trackus Raw just for Sam. We're going to wait until you feel better, whenever the hell that is, and then we're going to meet up with the others and train until we're ready. If you don't like it, then you'll have to fight me to get out of here. And I'm so ready for a fight. So really, bring it on. I could use the practice. He lifts his hands and aims it at something through the trees. A second later, I hear a quick yelp. Got it. Nine smiles, clearly proud of his telekinetic hunting skills. I follow him, refusing to give up. Isn't there anyone you would die for? Anyone you'd risk your life to help? I'm risking my life to help Lorien, Nine says, fixing me with a stare that makes me listen. I'll die for Lorien and anyone who's Lorik. And if I die, and that's a big if, I plan on doing it with 2 Mog heads smashed between my palms and another one under my foot. I'm not looking forward to feeling your symbol burned into my leg just yet, so grow up. Stop being so naive and think about more than yourself already. His words hit me hard. I know that Henry would agree with him, but I will not turn my back on Sam again. I don't know if it's Nine's arrogance or the urgency of the vision I just had or the fresh air and the walking, but my mind seems to be clear and strong for the first time in days. Sam saved my ass more than once, and his dad was there to meet our ship when we landed on Earth. His dad may have died for us, for Lorien. You owe it to both of them to go back to the cave with me, today. Not a chance. I step towards him and Nine doesn't hesitate. He grabs me and throws me against a tree. I pull myself to my feet and I'm about to swing at him when we hear twigs cracking behind us. Nine turns towards the noise. I flatten myself against the tree, dimly lighting my palms to be ready to blind whoever it is with my lumen. I hope I haven't overestimated how much of my strength is truly back. Nine looks over at me and whispers, "Sorry about you and the tree. Let's go find whoever's tracking us and kill them before they kill us." I nod and we step forward. The noise came from a patch of pines, thick with needles and offering excellent cover. If it were up to me, we'd wait and see who or what we're facing, but not Nine. He's wearing a strange little smile as we move towards the pines, ready to destroy whatever emerges. The pines rustle again and one of the lower branches moves, but what we see isn't a Mogadorian cannon or gleaming sword. Instead, the small black nose of a brown and white beagle emerges. "Bernie Kosar," I say relieved. "Good to see you, buddy." He trots over and I bend down to pet his head. He's the one creature who has been with me since the beginning. Bernie Kosar tells me he's happy to see me back on my feet. "He took long enough, right?" Nine says. I'd forgotten Nine has also developed the legacy to communicate with animals. I know it's immature, but it bothers me to share that power with him. He's already the biggest and strongest guard I've ever seen, has the ability to transfer powers to humans, an anti-gravity legacy, super speed and hearing, telekinesis, and whatever else he hasn't told me yet. My lumen sets me apart from the rest, but unless I find a source of fire to combine it with, it's practically useless. My ability to talk to animals was something I was looking forward to developing further, but now I'm sure Nine will find a better use for it before me. Bernie Kosar must see the disappointment on my face because he asks if I want to go for a walk with him, alone. Nine hears him and says, "Go for it. You're all BK talks about anyway. Whenever he wasn't patrolling the perimeter, he was in the bedroom looking after you." I keep petting his head. "That was you, huh?" Bernie Kosar licks my hand. "My other best friend," I say. "I'd die for you too, BK." Nine groans at the display of emotion. I know we're supposed to have each other's back in this massive intergalactic war, but sometimes I wish it were just BK and me, and Sam, and Sarah, and Six, and Henry. Really? I'd take anyone but Nine. "I'm going to find whatever it was I killed out there. Make sure we have some food for tonight," Nine says as he walks away. "You guys go have your special talk. When you get back, we need to talk about finding the rest of the guard, now that you're functioning." "And how exactly are we going to find them?" The address Six gave us for a meeting point was in Sam's pocket. For all we know, the Mogs have it and are waiting for Six to show up. That sounds like even more reason to find Sam if you ask me, I say pointedly. Bernie Kosar agrees. It sounds like he wants to look for Sam almost as much as I do. We'll talk about it over dinner. I'm thinking possum, maybe a muskrat, he says, already heading into the woods to find his prey. Bernie Kosar tells me to follow him, and he leads me through the trees and down a tall, grassy hill. The land levels out for a few feet before rising again. We move quickly, and the exercise feels amazing now that my strength is returning. Two huge trees lean into each other up ahead. I focus and push them apart with my mind. As soon as there's a space between them, BK jumps through and I chase after him, remembering our early morning runs to school back in Paradise. Life was so much easier then, when my days were spent training with Henry and my free time was spent with Sarah. It was exciting, finding out what I was capable of, how my powers would help me do what needed to be done. Even when I was frustrated or scared, there was so much possibility, and I could just focus on that. I had no idea how good I had it. My back is sticky with sweat by the time we reach a small peak. I'm better, but still not 100%. The view is spectacular. A panoramic scene of the Appalachian Mountains, wrapped in fir trees, bathed in the late afternoon light. I can see for miles. I gotta say, buddy, this is pretty awesome. Is this what you wanted me to see? I ask. Off in the distance, down on the left, he says. Do you see it? I scan the landscape. In that deep valley? Beyond it, he says. Do you see that glow? Squinting, I look past the valley. There's a cluster of thick trees in the faint outline of a rocky riverbed. Then I see it. Through the bottom of the trees on the far left is a glowing sliver of blue light. It's the force field at the bottom of the Mog's headquarters. It can't be more than 2 miles away. Bernie Kosar says we can go back right now if I want. He'll join me inside this time, now that Sam and I disabled the system that sent a gas deadly to animals through the mountain. A shiver runs down my body as I stare at the blue light. Sam is in there, and Sithrakis Ra. What about 9? Bernie Kosar circles my legs twice. Before sitting at my feet. It's up to you, he says. 9 is strong and fast, but he's also unpredictable. Have you taken him up here? I ask. Does he know how close we are? Bernie Kosar cocks his head as if to say, yes. I can't believe he knew and didn't tell me. That's enough. I'm done with 9. I'm going back to the house. I'll give 9 the option of coming with us, but whatever he says, it's time for me to face Sithrakis Ra. Chapter 5. We bounce along a pothole-riddled road in a military transport truck. We're on the outskirts of the city and I look around. I see a massive mountain range looming in the distance, but that doesn't tell me much. Vehicles full of soldiers are in front of us and behind us. My chest is at my feet and Six is sitting next to me. That makes me breathe a little easier. After the battle in Spain, the only time I feel even slightly safe is when Six is near. I didn't think I would ever miss the Sisters of Santa Teresa, but right now, I'd give anything to be back at the convent. For years, all I thought about was escaping their rules and punishments. But now that I have escaped, all I want is something familiar, even if it comes in the form of religious discipline. My CPAN, Adelina, is dead, murdered by Mogadorians. My best and only friend, Hector Ricardo, is also dead. The town and convent are both gone, obliterated by the Mogs. The deaths weigh heavily on me. I was the one Adelina and Hector were fighting to protect. God, I hope I'm not a curse. I hate the idea that my inexperience and lack of training might hurt anyone else. I don't want to put this mission in India in jeopardy just by my presence. Finally, Commander Sharma turns around to give us the lay of the land. This trip will last a few hours. Please get comfortable. Help yourself to water in the cooler behind you. Don't draw attention to yourselves. Don't engage with anyone. Not even to smile and nod. We're wanted. Creighton nods. So, what do you think about all this? So what do you think about all this? Six asks Creighton. You think he's really up there? I do. It makes sense. Why's that? I ask. The mountains are the ideal place for a guard member to hide. For For years, people have been scared to go near the glaciers north of China. Stories of alien sightings are enough to frighten the locals, and the Chinese military has been unable to investigate the reports because a mysterious lake appeared in the valley and blocked their access. Who knows what's true and what's a rumor, but either way, it's an excellent place to hide. Do you think there are other aliens up there besides number 8? Says Ella. You know, like Mogadorians? I was wondering the same thing. I don't know who else is up there, if anyone, but we'll find out soon enough, says Creighton. He wipes sweat from his brow and touches my chest with the tip of his finger. In the meantime, we should start learning how to use what's in here to help us prepare, if Marina is kind enough to share. Sure, I say quietly, lowering my eyes to the chest. I'm not opposed to sharing my inheritance, but I'm embarrassed by how little I understand what I have. My chest was supposed to be shared between me and Adelina. It was her job to explain how to use everything, how it could save my life, but that never happened. After a beat, I say, I don't know what any of it does, though. Creighton reaches forward and touches my hand. I meet his solemn yet encouraging eyes. It's okay that you don't know. I'll show you whatever I can, Creighton says. I'm not just Ella Seapen now. I'm all of yours. As long as I'm alive, Marina, you can count on me. I nod and place my palm against the lock. Now that Adelina is dead, I can open my chest on my own, and it's a bittersweet power. Six watches me, and I know she understands exactly how I'm feeling, having also lost her Seapan. The cold metal lock shakes against my skin. With a click, it falls to the floor of the truck. The dirt road we're driving on is covered with potholes and debris, constantly jostling me and making it hard for me to steady my hand as I reach inside the chest. I'm careful not to touch the glowing red crystal in the corner that caused me so much trouble in the orphanage's belfry. The one I worried was a Loric grenade or worse. I reach for a pair of dark glasses. Do you know what these are for? I ask Creighton. He examines them for a second, but hands them back to me, shaking his head. I don't know for sure, but they may give you the power to see through things, like X-ray vision, or they could be thermal detectors, good for seeing at night. There's only one way to find out, you know. I place the glasses on my face and look out the window. Aside from dulling the brightness of the sun, nothing else seems to happen. I check my hands, but they're just as solid as before, and when I look up at Creighton's face, there aren't any thermal hotspots. So, Six asks, what do they do? I don't know, I say, checking the barren landscape out the window again. Maybe they're just ordinary sunglasses? I doubt it, Creighton says. They have a use that you will discover, just like everything else in there. Can I see them? Ella asks. I hand them over. She slides the glasses up her nose, then twists around and looks out the back window. I turn back to my chest. Wait, everything looks a little different somehow, but I can't figure out why. It's almost like seeing everything a little delayed, or maybe sped up. I can't decide. Suddenly, Ella gasps, then shouts, Rocket! Rocket! We follow her line of vision, but I don't see anything but crystal blue sky. Where? Creighton yells. Ella points up at the sky. Get out of the truck! We have to get out right now! There's nothing there, Six squints into the horizon. Ella, I think those glasses are messing with you because I don't see anything. Ella doesn't listen. She scrambles over me with the glasses still on and opens the door. The shoulder of the road is lined with sharp rocks and dead shrubs. Jump! Now! Finally, we hear it. A faint whistling in the air, and a black speck suddenly comes into view, right where Ella was pointing. Get out! Creighton yells. I grab my open chest and jump. My feet hit the hard dirt road and sweep underneath me, and the world instantly becomes a swirl of browns and blues and sharp pains. The back tire of our truck grazes my arm, and I barely change direction in time to roll out of the way of the next speeding truck. My head hits a sharp stone, and I flip over one last time, landing on my chest. The impact knocks the wind out of me, and the contents of my chest have scattered in the dirt. I hear Ella and Six coughing somewhere nearby, but I can't see them in the haze of dust that surrounds us. A second later, the rocket smashes into the ground just behind the speeding truck we dove from. The explosion is deafening, and with Commander Sharma still inside, the truck flips forward onto its roof in a cloud of smoke. The careening jeep behind it is unable to swerve. It hits the edge of the chasm created by the rocket and dives right into the tremendous hole. 2 more rockets hit the convoy. The air is so thick with dust that we cannot see the helicopters overhead, but we can hear them. I blindly grope the area around me, trying to gather everything that spilled out of my chest. I know I'm probably collecting just as many stones and twigs as pieces of my inheritance, but I can sort through it later. I've just grabbed the red crystal when I hear the sound of gunfire tear through the air. "Six, you okay?" I shout. Then I hear Ella scream. Chapter 6. I'm frantic, pulling open closet doors, looking under what little furniture there is, when I hear someone come noisily into the house. I assume it's 9 because Bernie isn't growling. "9!" I yell. "Where'd you hide my chest?" "Look under the kitchen sink," he calls back. I walk into the kitchen. The curling linoleum floor looks like a decrepit chessboard someone spilled coffee all over. The handles to the cupboard under the sink are loose, and when I pull on them, I hear a click. "Wait for!" 9 yells from the other room. "I made a—" The cupboard doors blow open, and I fly backwards. "Trap!" 9 finishes. A dozen sharpened sticks are shooting straight at me. They're inches away when my instincts kick in, and I'm able to deflect them with my telekinesis. The sticks ricochet left and right, stabbing the walls. 9 stands in the doorway, laughing. "So sorry, dude. I totally forgot to tell you I rigged that up." Furious, I jump to my feet. Bernie Kosar skids in and growls at 9. While he berates 9 for his stupidity, I focus on pulling the sticks out of the walls. I will them to hover in the air, aimed at 9. "You don't sound sorry." I'm seriously consider launching the little spears at him when he uses telekinesis to break the sticks into 2, 4, and then 8 pieces, and they fall to the ground. "Hey, I really did forget," he says, shrugging. He turns around to head into the other room. "Anyway, grab your chest and get in here. We have to jet, so start pulling your stuff together." Ooh. My lumen lights up the moldy cupboard, and I carefully stick my head under the sink. At first I don't see anything and think 9 is messing with me. I'm about to march into the living room to demand he return my chest to me when I notice something. The left side of the cupboard goes deeper than the right. I feel my way around and pull away the false plywood wall. Jackpot. There it is. I grab the chest and carry it out of the kitchen. In the living room, 9's digging in his own chest, the chest we rescued from the Mog Cave. "Good to see you, old friend," he says when he pulls out a short silver staff. Next he grabs a round yellow thing covered with small bumps. It looks like a strange fruit, and I half expect him to squeeze it to produce juice. He sets it in his palm, and before I can ask what it is, he whips it down at the floor and quickly backs himself up against the wall. It bounces high after hitting the carpet and changes from yellow to black, expanding to the size of a grapefruit. When it reaches shoulder height, the small bumps explode, turning into razor-sharp spikes. I duck and roll in BK's direction to avoid getting impaled. "What the hell?" I shout. "You could have warned me! This is the second time in less than 5 minutes that you've almost killed me." 9 doesn't flinch when the spikes retract violently back into the ball just before it returns to his palm. Hey, would you please relax?" 9 says. He holds the ball close to his eye, causing me to hold my breath. "I knew nothing would hit you. I can control it with my mind. Well, I can control it partly, usually." "Partly? Are you kidding me? I didn't see a lot of control just now. I had to jump out of the way." 9 takes the ball away from his eye, looking a little charged. Not enough, though. "Right now, I can only control the color." "That's it?" I'm incredulous. He shrugs. BK tells him to stop fooling around. "Hey, I'm just checking to make sure I remember how everything works. Everything I know how to use, at least," 9 says, dropping the ball back into the chest. "Because you never know." He pulls out the strand of green stones he used back at the Mog Cave and flings it into the air. It hovers in a perfect circle and sucks debris off the ground like a black hole. It spins towards the back window and glows white, and when 9 snaps his fingers, the debris explodes out of the circle, breaking whatever was left of the window. "Check that one off," he laughs. I open my own chest. 9 thinks that there's something in our chest that can help us find the others. The first thing I see is the blue coffee can holding Henry's ashes, and I suck in my breath. I'm instantly transported back to the forest in paradise, walking with Sarah through the melting snow to see Henry's dead body. I promised Henry I would take him back to Lorien, and I still plan on it. I carefully move the coffee can to the floor next to the chest and grab the dagger with the diamond blade, letting the handle extend and wrap itself around my fist. I turn it over, looking at the blade. I release the dagger and continue to sift through the items. I try not to dwell on the objects I don't know. The star-shaped talisman, the collection of brittle leaves tied with twine, the bright red oval bracelet, and I stay away from the crystal that's double wrapped in towels and stuffed into a plastic bag. The last time I touched that crystal, my stomach convulsed and acid climbed up my throat. I push aside the smooth yellow Zatharis rock that transfers legacies and pick up an oblong crystal that is full of memories. Its surface is waxy with a cloudy inside, and it's the first thing Henry ever pulled out of the chest to show me. When the cloud swirled that meant my first legacy was developing, this crystal was the beginning. Then I see Sam's dad's glasses and the white tablet Sixon I found in Malcolm Good's office in the well. That's enough to snap me back to reality. I look over at 9. Maybe something in our chests can get us through the blue force field. I think the effect of it is weakened anyway. There may be a chance we can get to Sam tonight. Would be nice if something in the chest would help us do that, that's for sure, 9 says in a casual tone. His eyes focused on the purple pebble he is balancing on the back of his hand. It disappears. What's that? I ask. He turns over his hand and the pebble reappears on his palm. I have no idea, but it would be a killer conversation starter with the ladies, don't you think? I shake my head and slide the red bracelet from my chest over my hand. I hope it will propel me into the air or shoot a ring of lasers, but it just hangs there on my wrist. I wave my arm over my head, asking it to work, begging it to reveal its powers. Nothing happens. Maybe you should try licking it, 9 laughs, watching me. I'll try anything, I mutter, frustrated. I keep it on and hope something will just happen. Everything in my chest came from the elders. Everything has a purpose. So I know it must do something. My hand brushes against the velvet bag holding the 7 orbs that make up Lorien's solar system. I pull open the bag and drop the stones into my hand and show them to 9, remembering the day that Henry first showed them to me. Are these what you're looking for to find the others? Henry had these. This is how we figured out another member of the guard was in Spain. I've never seen those before. What do they do? I blow softly on the stones and they glow, coming to life. Bernie Kosar barks at the sight of the orbs hovering over my palm. They've become planets and orbit the sun. Just as I'm about to shine my lumen onto Lorien to see it in its lush, green state, as it was the day before the Mogadorian attack, the orbs once again speed up and brighten, and I can no longer control them. 9 comes closer, and we watch as the planets collide one by one with the sun, until there is just a large single ball in front of us. The new glow rotates on its axis and flashes a light so bright we have to shield our eyes. Eventually, the globe dims and sections of its surface rise and recede until we're looking at a perfect replica of Earth. 9 is mesmerized. The Earth rotates and we immediately see 2 pinpricks of pulsing light, one on top of the other. Once we can orient ourselves, we see they are in West Virginia. There we are, I say. The ball continues to rotate, and we see there's another pulse of light in India. A 4th is moving north quickly from what looks like Brazil. When I was showing 6 in Sam, our solar system, a few days ago in the car, the same thing happened. It turned into a globe of the Earth. It was the first time it ever did that, I say. I'm confused, 9 says. There are only 4 dots on this thing, and there are supposed to be 6 of us left. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. When this happened before, a dot showed up in Spain, I say. Then the globe went all fuzzy, and we heard someone who sounded panicked yelling the name Adelina. We assumed she was another member of the guard. That's when 6 decided to go to Spain to try to find her. I figured this was how you planned to contact the others, but I guess not if you've never seen it before. 9's eyes go wide. Wait. Oh my god, man. I haven't seen this thing before, but I think Sandra told me about it. To be honest, when we opened my chest the first time, the silver staff and the yellow porcupine ball were so amazing I only half listened to anything he said after. But now I remember. He told me some of us had a red crystal. which I do, and that's what I thought I'd use to communicate with the others, and some of us have the solar system. I don't get it. He turns to his chest, grabs a glowing red crystal the size of a cigarette lighter, slams the lid of his chest, and turns back to me. I glance at the solar system and gasp. One of the blue dots in West Virginia has disappeared. Whoa, hold on. Open up your chest again. I want to see something. 9 obeys and a second blue dot reappears on the globe in West Virginia. Okay, now close it. He closes it and the dot disappears again. This is boring, he says. When 9 speaks, the Earth globe grows fuzzy and vibrates with a half-second delay of his voice. Wait. What was that? Why is my voice echoing? The Earth vibrates again. This is not boring. This is incredible, I say, staring at the globe. The reason we don't see all 6 of the Guard members on the globe is because the orb only reveals the members of the Guard who have their chests open. At the exact moment. Watch. I lift the lid of 9's chest. 9 whistles. Very cool, 4. Very cool. Half a second later, we hear his voice through the globe again. 9 puts his crystal down, having figured it out. But judging by the speed of this guy here, I say, pointing to the dot in motion, whoever's in South America has to be on a plane. It's covering too much ground too fast to be doing anything else. Why would they have their chest open on a plane? 9 asks. That's stupid. Maybe they're in trouble. Maybe they're hiding in the bathroom trying to figure out what all this stuff actually does, just like we are. Can they see us right now, too? I don't know, but maybe they can hear us. I think if you hold on to that red crystal, any of us with the macrocosm Earth can hear you. If half of us have a crystal and the other half have the power to get this big glowing globe up and running, then the only way for us to actually communicate back and forth would be if a couple of us teamed up first, I interrupt. Well, now that we're together, maybe we should try to talk to the others, in case their macrocosms are going, I say. Maybe another pair has gotten together like us. 9 grabs the red crystal and holds it near his mouth like a microphone. Hello, testing 1, 2, 3. He clears his throat. Okay, if any of you Guard members are out there standing in front of a glowing ball, listen up. 4 and 9 are together and we're ready to meet up with you. We want to train and end all this bullshit and get back to Lorien. Pronto. We're not going to say exactly where we are in case any Mogs are listening in, but if you have your macrocosm going, you'll see 2 dots together, and they are, us. So, 9 looks at me and shrugs his shoulders. That's all. Over and out, and stuff. The skin on my wrist suddenly feels numb under the bracelet. I shake it and my arm begins to tingle. Wait. Say we're about to get out of here, and for them to make their way to the United States. That's where Setrekis Ra, the Mogadorian leader, is. Tell them we're going after him, and we're going to rescue our friends as soon as we can. The earth in front of me buzzes to life with 9's echoing voice. Everyone, come to America ASAP. Setrekis Ra has shown his ugly face over here, and we're aiming to smash it in and take him down real soon. We'll send out another message tomorrow. Stay tuned. 9 drops the red crystal back into his chest, looking way too pleased with himself. Then, kind of embarrassed that he just talked into a ball. I frown. My right arm has gone ice cold, and I'm about to rip off this bracelet before putting the orbs back into the velvet bag when the earth grows fuzzy again. Then there's the sound of an explosion, followed by a voice I know well. It's the same girl I heard before. The girl 6 went to Spain to seek out. She's yelling, 6! You okay? We hear a scream and 2 more explosions rock the fuzzy edges of the globe. I grab 9's crystal out of his chest, frantic to try to communicate with her. 6! I yell. I would jump into the thing if I could figure out how. It's me, John! Can you hear me? There's no response. We hear the faint sounds of the blades of a helicopter before the globe goes silent again, and the earth's edges grow solid. The pulsing light in India is now gone. Suddenly, the globe shrinks and reforms into the 7 orbs, each of which falls to the ground. That did not sound good, 9 says, scooping up the stones. He drops them back into my chest and takes his crystal out of my frozen hand. 6 is in trouble, the kind of trouble that involves explosions and helicopters and mountains. And all of this is happening now, halfway around the world. How am I going to get to India? Where can I get on a plane? 6 is the chick who gave you the map to the mountain? The one who abandoned you and your boy to jet off to Spain? Nine asks. That's her, I say, kicking my chest shut, fists clenched tight. My head is swimming. What's wrong with Six? Who's the other girl, the one I've now heard twice? I notice my arm feels strange. Hearing her voice distracted me so much I forgot about the growing discomfort there. I try to remove the bracelet from my wrist, and it burns my fingers. Something's going on with this thing. I think something may be wrong with it. Nine shuts his chest and reaches over. The bracelet? As soon as he touches it, he rips his hand away. Damn! It zapped me! Well, what do I do? I try snapping my arm out, hoping I can fling the bracelet off. Bernie Kosar trots over to smell the bracelet, but stops mid-stride and jerks his head up to stare at the front door. His ears rise, and the fur on his back bristles. Someone's here, he says. Nine and I look at each other and start to slowly back into the room, away from the door. We've been so engrossed in everything in our chests and in hearing the voice through the globe that we let our guard down and weren't paying attention to our surroundings. Suddenly, the door is blown off its hinges. Smoke bombs fly through the window, sending glass shards everywhere. I want to fight, but the pain from the bracelet is now so intense I can't move. I fall to my knees. I see a flash of green light and hear Nine shout out in pain. He falls down next to me. I've seen that green light before. That is the unmistakable green light of a Mogadorian cannon. Chapter 7. Okay, I'm wondering if I should keep going. We're at 46 minutes and 30 seconds. Let's see how long this chapter is. It's kind of long, but I think I'll read it. Let me see what time it is really quick. Yeah, I'm going to read it. I'm going to keep going. Chapter 7. Okay. Bullets whistle by, exploding in the dirt all around us. Ella and I take cover behind the wreckage of one of the trucks. The bullets seem to be coming from everywhere, from every direction, from every angle. Ella's been hit. The air is so thick with dust from all the commotion, I can't even see her wounds. I gently run my hands over her body until I feel the wet, sticky blood and find a bullet hole in her lower thigh. When I touch it, she cries out in pain. I use the most soothing voice I can muster, given the circumstances. It's going to be okay. Marina can help you. We just need to find her. I pick Ella up and start carefully moving away from the truck, shielding her with my body. I almost trip over Marina and Creighton, who are huddled together behind another piece of debris. Come on, Ella's hurt. We have to get out of here. There are too many of them. If we try to run now, they'll kill us. Let's treat Ella first, then fight back, Creighton says. I set Ella down next to Marina. She's still wearing the dark glasses. I can see her wound clearly now. Her blood is flowing steadily. Marina places her hands on Ella's leg and closes her eyes. Ella inhales sharply, her chest beginning to rise and fall at a rapid pace. It really is amazing to see Marina's legacy in action. Another explosion sounds nearby, and a blast of dust sweeps over us just as Ella's wound contracts, pushing the bullet out of her flesh. The gash turns from black and red back to the color of her pearly white skin. An outline of a small bone shifts just below the surface of her skin, and Ella's body slowly begins to relax. I rest my hand on Marina's shoulder, relieved, and say, "That was incredible, Marina." "Thanks. It was pretty cool, wasn't it?" Marina removes her hands from Ella, who slowly props herself up onto her elbows. Creighton gives her a hug. A helicopter roars overhead and decimates two trucks with a spray of bullets. A chunk of metal lands close to me. It's a piece of smoldering truck door, the red number 8 just barely visible. The sight of it fills me with anger. Now that Ella is healed, I'm ready to fight back. "Now we move on them," I yell at Creighton. "Is it the Mogadorians?" Marina asks, clicking the lock of her chest shut. Creighton looks over the top of the debris heap we've been hiding behind and ducks back down to report. "It's not the Mogs, but there are a lot of them and they're coming closer. We can fight here, but it would be better to take it to the mountains. Whoever they are, if they aren't here to attack us but are battling Commander Sharma, I see no reason to reveal your powers." An explosion behind us pushes another cloud of dirt our way, and I watch the helicopter circle back around and head straight for us. Marina and I look at each other, and we can tell we're both thinking the same thing. There's no way to honor Creighton's request that we not use our legacies and do what we need to do. She takes control of the helicopter and reverses its flight path. Its passengers will never understand what happened, but we know it's out of our way. And regardless of who's inside, we don't want anyone to be in danger's path unnecessarily. Ella and I cheer with relief as we watch the spinning blades disappear into the distance while Creighton watches with a frown. Then Commander Sharma dives behind our cover. "Thank God you're alive," he says. I'm tempted to say the same thing to him. I thought he was killed when that first rocket struck. Blood trickles from a large cut on his temple, and his right arm hangs awkwardly at his side. "I'm holding you responsible for this," I say, glaring at him. He shakes his head. "Those are soldiers of the Lord's Resistance Front. They are who we are trying to avoid." "What do they want?" I ask. Commander Sharma scans the horizon before looking me in the eyes. "To kill Vishnu. And destroy all of his friends, like you. More are on their way." I move to a crouching stance and carefully peer over the demolished truck. A large brigade of heavily armored vehicles is moving towards us, several helicopters hovering above them. Tiny flashes of light appear from the long line of the trucks and jeeps, and seconds later I hear the bullets zip past us. "Let's go kick some ass," I say. "It's not possible to defeat them here," Commander Sharma says, picking up a machine gun with his good hand. "No more than 20 of my men are still fighting. We must take it to higher ground if we want a chance to survive this." "Just let me handle it," I say. "Wait, Six," Creighton says, scooping at Marina's chest. "He's right. The mountains will give us more cover. You can still take out every single one of them. It just won't be as visible, which is good for us. We don't need the Mogs picking up on this right now." Marina puts her hand on my arm. "Creighton is right. We need to be smart. Let's not draw more attention to ourselves than we have to." "The Mogs?" Commander Sharma asks, confused. "We'll need to be more careful around him." Before anyone can answer, 2 low-flying helicopters zip in with their guns blazing. Several of the commander's soldiers are mowed down, their weapons blown to useless shards of metal. If we're going to run, it's now or never. I use my telekinesis to pull on the tail of one of the helicopters, tipping the nose down. It looks like a rodeo horse trying to buck its rider as the pilot struggles furiously to level the copter out. We watch the pilot give a particularly hard yank to the joystick, and 2 men bounce right out of the cabin. They weren't very high in the air, so the fall shouldn't injure them much. I look over at our fleet of stalled SUVs and see smoke rising faintly from some of the tailpipes. An engine is still running. "Oh, an engine's still running," I shout. "Let's go, now!" Everyone rushes from behind the cover. Commander Sharma yells for his few remaining men to retreat. The brigade is less than 100 yards away. As we run, I feel a bullet zip through my hair. Another one rips through my forearm, but before I can scream, Marina is right next to me, her icy hands tending to my injury as we run. All but one of the commander's soldiers follows his orders to retreat. That lone soldier follows the commander, running with us. We reach the SUV and get inside, the 4 of us, plus Commander Sharma and the one soldier. Creighton steps on the gas and whips us onto the road. Bullets tear through the tail end of our truck, shattering the back windshield. But we're able to maneuver around a small rock formation and evade the relentless gunfire. This is not a road built for speed. It's full of potholes, rocks, and other debris, and Creighton struggles to keep us from careening off the shoulder. The SUV is overflowing with guns. I find a shotgun and crawl into the back, waiting for a target. Marina follows suit, leaving her chest with Ella. Now that I have a moment to gather my thoughts, I'm angry. We thought if number 8 remained in the mountains, we would be safe here, under the radar. Instead, we're being attacked because of him. If we survive this, I'm so going to tear 8 a new one. Where are we going? Creighton yells over his shoulder. Just stay on this road, the commander says. I look over my shoulder and see the Himalayan mountains through the windshield. They are slowly getting closer, their jagged tops growing more menacing. Up ahead, the brown desert ends, and a curving band of green surrounds the base of the mountains. Why do these guys want to kill number 8? I asked Commander Sharma, the barrel of my shotgun bouncing off the frame of the back window. The Lord's Resistance Front does not believe he is Vishnu. They believe we are blasphemous accepting this mountain boy as a supreme god. They want to kill us in his name. 6! Ellie yells. Incoming! She's still wearing the glasses. I look out the back window in time to see something fire out of the helicopter. It's a missile of some sort heading straight for us. I use my telekinesis and send it directly into the desert floor, where it explodes. The helicopter fires 2 more missiles. "Time to take those dudes out," I yell. "Let's do this one together, Marina." She nods, and instead of directing the rockets into the ground this time, we loop them so they're heading directly back at the copter. We watch grimly as the helicopters explode in a giant fireball. We never try to kill, but given a choice between killing versus being killed, I will pick us every time. "Awesome work, Six," Ella says. "Yippee-ki-yay and all that," I reply with a grim smile. "Do you think they'll leave us alone now?" asks Marina. "I don't think it's going to be that easy," says Commander Sharma. "She has all the same type of powers as the boy you call Vishnu," says Creighton, motioning towards me. "Will that be enough to dissuade them? Do you think they'd still try to fight him?" "They would if they could find him," says the commander. How many are there in the Lord's Resistant Front?" I ask Commander Sharma. "In total, thousands, and they have wealthy donors who support them in any way they need. Hence the helicopters, Creighton says. "They have worse than that," the commander adds. "The best plan for us is to outrun them," Creighton says to the commander. "I'll drive as fast as I can. If we have to fight, we'll fight, but I'd like to avoid it." 5 minutes pass in tense silence. Marina and I monitor the brigade in the distance, and whenever we pass something large enough, we use our telekinesis to drop it in the path behind us. The tall trees that have begun to dot the sides of the road quickly form a thick line of defense. The car dips into an extremely narrow valley before beginning to ascend the mountain. We have just come to the base when Commander Sharma tells Creighton to stop. I lean forward in my seat and see dozens of small mounds in the dirt. "Landmines?" I ask. "I'm not sure," the commander says, "but they weren't there 2 days ago." "Is there another route to wherever we're going?" Creighton asks. "No, this is the only path," Commander Sharma says. Suddenly we hear the sound of helicopter blades, but I don't see them yet. They're hidden behind the tall trees. Of course, that means they can't see us either, though it sounds like they aren't very far off anymore. "We're sitting ducks if we stay here," I say, my mind racing to figure out our next best move. Creighton opens his door and steps out with a machine gun under his arm. "Okay, this is it." He points up and to our right. We either go up there and get behind a line of trees and fight, or we keep running straight up the mountain. I follow him out. I'm not running. "Neither am I," says Marina, standing next to me. "Then we fight," says Commander Sharma. He points into the hills. "Half of us set up on the left while the other half takes position on the right. I will take these 2 with me." He indicates Ella and me. Creighton and I look at each other and nod. Ella turns to Creighton. "You okay without me, Papa?" Creighton smiles. Marina's legacy will make sure whatever they do to me won't last long. I think I'll be okay." "I'll keep an eye on him, Ella," Marina adds. "Are you sure we should do this, Commander?" the soldier asks. "I can go fetch Vishnu, bring him back to help." "No. Lord Vishnu should stay where he's safe." Creighton turns to Ella. "Keep those glasses on. Maybe you can be our eyes up there in the trees. I'm still not sure how they work, but let's hope they'll help now." I hug Marina and whisper into her ear, "Be confident in your abilities." "I should heal Commander Sharma before you go," she says. "No," I whisper. "I don't trust him yet, and he's less dangerous to us if he's injured." "You sure?" "For now." Marina nods. Creighton taps her arm and beckons her to join him and the young soldier. The 3 of them scramble up the left wall of the valley, disappearing behind a boulder. Commander Sharma, Ella, and I move up the right side of the hills, carefully avoiding the bumps on the ground as we move. We find a position behind some massive boulders and settle in to wait for the brigade to arrive. I turn to Commander Sharma. I feel slightly guilty about not letting Marina heal him, but for all I know, he's set this up as an elaborate trap. "How's your arm?" I whisper to him. With a grunt, Commander Sharma lies down and sets the barrel of his gun on a flat rock. He looks up and winks. "I only need one." Out of the corner of my eye, I can see a helicopter buzz overhead, but it leaves almost immediately. Either Marina took care of it or the pilot couldn't penetrate the thick canopy of the valley. I looked through the trees, hoping to manipulate the clouds surrounding the peaks of the mountains, but the afternoon sun has burned them off. With no wind and no clouds, there aren't any elements to control. I can turn invisible if I need to, but I prefer to keep that hidden from the commander for now. What do you see? Ella asks. A whole lot of nothing, I whisper. Commander, how far away is number 8? You mean Vishnu? Not far. A half-day's walk, maybe. I'm about to ask him to tell me where exactly. We should know in case something happens to the commander and we need to move forward without him. But I'm distracted when a rusty pickup truck swings into the narrow valley at full speed with a man standing in the open bed. Even from a distance, I can see he's nervous as well as armed. He jerks his gun from side to side, frantically trying to be everywhere at once. As soon as our SUV comes into view, the pickup skids to a stop and the soldier in the back hops out. More vehicles appear and pull up behind the pickup. A soldier drops out of a red van and sets a rocket launcher onto his shoulder. I see an opportunity. I nudge the commander with my foot. I'll be right back. I don't give him a chance to argue as I run quickly into the woods. When he can't see me any longer, I use my invisibility legacy to disappear and sprint down into the valley. The soldier has our truck in his crosshairs, but before he can pull the trigger, I rip the rocket launcher off his shoulder and slam one end into his belly. He doubles over and goes down with a scream. Hearing the commotion, the driver of the truck rushes over with a pistol in his hand. I point the rocket launcher at his face. The soldier takes a split second to decide if the free-floating launcher is about to do its thing, then turns and runs away with his arms above his head. I aim at the now empty, rusty pickup and pull the trigger. The rocket flies out of my launcher and a wave of fire explodes under the pickup, blowing it 30 feet into the air. The burning truck lands hard and bounces and rolls quickly forward, the momentum sending it into the back of the SUV with a crash. I watch it lurch forward, rolling slowly over the small mounds in the dirt that had stopped us from advancing. The next 30 seconds are filled with ear-splitting, rapid detonations as soldiers fire blindly around them, and the mounds in the road explode. Thousands of birds burst out of the trees all around us, their sounds quickly drowned out by the snap, crackle, and pop of munitions doing their thing. I was right. They were landmines. And now our SUV is nothing more than a smoldering pile of metal. Evidently, this was just the opening act. The main attraction, armored vehicles, small tanks, mobile missile units, is closing in on the mountain. There have to be a couple thousand soldiers on foot. 5 or 6 attack helicopters hover overhead. I hear a whirring and turn to see a missile launcher rising and rotating, going into operational mode. The tips of 5 white missiles turn up and towards the area where Marina and Creighton have taken cover. There's movement in the tree line, and the commander's young soldier runs down into the valley. He's unarmed and headed right for the missile launcher. At first I think he's going to sacrifice himself somehow to save my friends, but no one fires at him. He stops when he reaches the launcher and starts pointing higher up the side of the mountain, to where Creighton and Marina are hiding. The launcher rises another few feet and adjusts its aim. He's a traitor, part of the group trying to kill us. The next thing I know, he's flying into the air, yanked upward by telekinesis. Marina must have realized the same thing, but it might be too late. He's already revealed her location. I look towards the missile launcher and gather my strength so I can alter the flight of the missiles once they're fired. As I start to focus on it, another launcher whirs to life and aims its missiles directly at me. Though I'm invisible, the Army knows a shoulder rocket was fired from where I'm standing. I only have the power to deal with one of them, and there's no time to run. I have a choice: save Creighton and Marina, or save myself. The launcher pointed towards this mountain starts firing. The missiles come screaming out, heading straight for the hills. I get control of them and redirect them into the ground, where they explode, just as the second launcher fires. I turn and see their white tips moving towards me. I don't have time to do anything. But suddenly the missiles loop up and turn back towards the launcher that fired them and the brigade. They barrel into 5 different vehicles, all of which explode. Marina. She saved my life. We were working together, just as we were meant to do, and the thought makes me feel more determined than before to get this pit stop over with and find 8. I want to send a message to the remaining soldiers of the brigade, so I stop using my invisibility legacy and show myself. I focus and, with my telekinesis, start to control the flames rising from where the missiles exploded. I spread the fire down the road to engulf the rest of the brigade. One by one, the flames move down the row of vehicles, and it's like exploding dominoes. Message received. The remaining soldiers of the Lord's Resistance Front begin to retreat. For a second, I'm tempted to indulge in a little retribution. But that's cruel and unnecessary, and exactly the kind of thing the Mogadorians would do. I know my fantasies of going medieval on their retreating asses are not going to help us now. That's right! Run! Because if you don't, that fire is just waiting to finish the job off. When the last one disappears from view, I turn and start walking back towards the hills. I need to find my friends. Okay, so that was it for chapter 7. In the next video, we will pick back up on chapter 8. I hope you're enjoying it. This book starts pretty quickly with some really good action and things like that. So, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed to this channel already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you can get all the videos as they come out. And leave me a comment. Other than that, that's about it. Alright, that's it for now. Reading by Ree. Bye!